On this episode of UTR, we get an update from 5 fantastic UTR alumni. We'll check in with some cops in Clare, Leon and Lulu, and a righteous Romine brother. Then we see what's morphed at Mai Tiki and tip our hats to Stormy Kromer. Get ready to find out what's new with some of the awesome people and places that make Michigan a great place to be.
DestinationAnnArbor.org is your gateway to Chelsea, Dexter, Manchester, Milan, Saline, Ypsilanti, and Ann Arbor. Find out the best spots to eat, festivals to attend, activities to do, and places to discover at DestinationAnnArbor.org. A visit to the Stalls Auto Collection will take you back to a time when cars were more than just a way to get around. A fantastic assortment of gas pumps, neon signs, and automated music machines dating back 150 years that must be seen and heard. Info at stallsauto.com.
I've been around the world, but there's one place I keep coming back to. And the more I explore, the more I realize it's the place to be. I'm Tom Dalton, and this is Under the Radar, Michigan.
Have you ever wondered what's changed with somebody you haven't seen in a while? You know, like, what's different? What's new? What the heck is going on? Well, since I'm still being socially responsible and holed up in my office, on this Under the Radar, I thought we'd go back and check in with 5 folks from former shows and find out what they've been up to since first we were there. And as you'll soon see, nobody sits still for long after being on our show. So get ready for a blast from the past and a peek at the present. Because here we go. First up, we find out what's new with Greg Rhino Reinerson and Alan Bubba White. They're 2 of the 9 caring cops in Clare who, if you remember correctly, rescued a historic bakery right downtown. How'd they do it? Simple. They bought it. But if you think about it, it was a match made in heaven. Bubba, Rhino, can you guys believe it's been 7 years since we were there?
No, I can't. And we still hear about that episode over and over again.
Oh my God. 7 years, that's a lot of donuts.
That's a lot of donuts.
Millions, literally millions.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Now just remind people, if they didn't see the first episode, up in Clare, you guys, the police department, all got together and bought this historic bakery to save it, right?
That's right. The bakery was built in 1897 and had been continuously operated all those years. And it was going to close because the owner just didn't want to do it anymore. And we at the police department said, you know what, we're going to save the donuts.
And we like to jab each other, so it was actually 1896.
What did I say?
97. He has brain
Close.
brain farts.
Male brain fade.
This is Under the Radar, so close is good. And if you could really quick explain, a lot of people think that cops and donuts or cops and bakeries and coffee shops is a joke, but explain the symbiotic relationship, why that's sort of a natural fit.
Yeah, back before all the police officers had cop cars, the big cities, every cop didn't have a car like they do today. So there were the flatfoots walking around, and there was not phones or radios and stuff like that. So in inclement weather in the middle of the night, they'd hang out in the donut shop, have a donut and have a coffee. And it actually got to be known that, like, if there was a fight going on and they could hear it in one of the apartments, the mother would say, "Hey, little Johnny, run down to the bakery and get Officer White." And that's where it came from, cops and donuts.
Now, when we were up there 7 years ago, you guys had the one location, but you guys are expanding, correct?
We're expanding in more ways than one, Tom, I'll tell you. Yeah, we now have locations in Mount Pleasant, Bay City, and Gaylord, too.
And I mean, and not just Michiganians or Michiganders or whatever you want to call us come to that store. You guys get people from around the globe, right?
All over the world.
Right now, not so much.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because we're
Yeah, but they come from all over the world. Yes. Yep.
Yeah. Well, now, what else is new with you guys since the 7 years since we've been there?
Oh my gosh, there's so many things. We've bought the buildings on either side of us and expanded the bakery into them. We bought a building behind us that we used. We've opened those new stores. And I want to give a shout out. Our Gaylord location is inside Jay's Sporting Goods in Gaylord.
Oh, okay.
And we're friends with the owner of Jay's, and it was a great fit.
Now, when
We've
we were
even
up,
started substations.
Yes.
We've got two great substations. One is inside of Ace Hardware in Midland, and the other one's in Wheeler's Restaurant over in Standish. I don't know if you've covered Wheeler's. If you haven't, you probably will. Been there since 1935.
And so in Midland, it really is guns and buns.
We're in the gun section.
We're in the gun section.
It goes
Seriously.
along. There's a case of handguns, another case of handguns, then a case of guns.
Okay, well, I'll check back in another 7 years. No, I'm kidding. I'm coming up there soon. As soon as I get out of my house, I'm coming up there.
Yeah, you may not have filmed here for 7 years, but I know you've been in for donuts, and so has Jim. So.
Yeah.
Well,
We miss you guys.
Truth be told, the donuts are that good. As always, it was great catching up with our old pals Bubba and Rhino. So next time you pass a Cops and Donuts location on your travels, be sure to pull over. Get it? Pull over? Oh boy. Next up, we zoom back to season 7 for an innovative lady who turned an old roller rink into a ridiculously cool everything for your home and more store. That's right, Mary Liz Curtin is the awesomely creative and eclectic character who owns Leon and Lulu, and she continues turning Clawson into, well, the place to be. What's she been up to? Let's find out. Well, I have to say, Mary Liz, you're the only person I know who's cool enough to have 2 first names.
Well, it's Irish Catholic. It doesn't get better than Mary Elizabeth.
Well, good point. Good point. It's been like 3 or 4 years since we've been there. And
Are you serious? It can't be that long.
It's been that long. And to this day, when I try to describe Leon and Lulu to people, I know you call it your oasis of happiness, but it's so much more than that. You've created this destination in Clawson that's just, why don't you describe Leon and Lulu for people who have not been there yet?
Well, we are actually 23,000 square feet of shopping magic located in a vintage roller skating rink and a vintage movie theater. We have the entire entertainment district of Clawson, Michigan converted into a restaurant, a retail store. We sell furniture, we sell clothing, we sell books, we sell things from 75 cents up to, holy crap, is that expensive?
Now, when we were there a couple of years ago, you had the roller rink and you had the main store and you had acquired the theater next door, which had a small cafe in it. But now you've done something absolutely magical with a restaurant, correct?
Oh, it's very exciting. We have 3 Cats restaurant now. We got really lucky. We got a chance to work with Matt Prentice, and he is a genius. He's just amazing. So now we have an American small plates restaurant, fabulous food, a beautiful patio, delicious, good wines, and we put in a full commercial kitchen. We made the whole thing into a real restaurant. We went from a tiny little cute cafe to the whole deal.
Yeah, and like you said, you've got the whole historic district to yourself.
We have the entire entertainment district.
People must be coming from all over.
They do. And many times they come because they saw this dandy show called Under the Radar. And they say, oh, that Tom, isn't he the sweetest? And I say, yes, he is.
I've been called a lot of things before, but never dandy.
We do pull from about an hour away all the time. We get a lot of customers from Ann Arbor. And then at Christmas, we'll pull from 2 or 3 hours because we're big enough to make the trip. It's a real destination. And now we've got the whole package because you can shop, you can eat, you can have a cocktail, you can shop some more, have another cocktail. It's a fun place to be. We make people happy. They leave here smiling.
Well,
and we don't care if they leave as long as they're smiling.
What are your plans for the future? You're going to acquire the 7-Eleven next door and turn that into something too?
Well, we have the abandoned Burger King right next to us.
Oh.
Our plans for the future are just to keep making this place more fun and more worth the trip. Because I think with all the unhappiness and unrest on so many levels these days, anybody who can provide something that's happy and fun and makes you glad to be there is going to be successful. And people need us. People need little independent stores where we know you and we're glad to see you. And we have a collection of things that you can't find on the web because you don't know what they are. You couldn't search for them because who would search for little tiny feet that you can wear on your hands?
Me, someone like me.
Well, you might, but you'd have to know that they existed first, and that's where we come in.
Well, as soon as they let me out of my office here, you will be seeing me, and I will be coming down there for dinner as well.
Tom, it's always so good to see you and your gang of merry men. I love it when you visit.
Thanks.
And we come back soon.
We will. You will. It's sooner than you think.
I'm here because, it's not like I'm going out for a mani-pedi anytime soon. I'll be here.
Mary Liz really is one of the most creative people we've ever featured on UTR. Heck, chances are she's probably conjuring up her next big idea as we speak. So if you like eye candy and great food, be sure to stop by and see her real soon. Well, talk about change. This guy has moved, morphed, and managed to become the main meat man for many of Michigan's finest restaurants, chefs, and countless carnivorous connoisseurs. Now, way back in Season 4, identical twin brothers Matt and Mike Romine opened a celebrated farm-to-table restaurant in Imlay City called the Mulefoot Gastropub. The place was absolutely amazing, which is why we had them on the show. They were filling stomachs and blowing minds with their ultra-local creative cuisine. But now, well, let's let Matt tell us what now. I have to be completely honest with you, Matt. I loved the Mulefoot Gastropub. I went there a bunch, as you know. I sent people there. I took people there. Incredible restaurant. But I think you have to admit that it was really just a gateway activity to what you're doing now.
It was one of the most expensive and exciting gateway drugs that exist. Yeah, and I think for us, for Mike and myself, we've never been fully tied into just a restaurant, but more so just tied into like an overwhelming love and appreciation for food in general.
Well, for people that don't know, explain the concept or the mission of Farm Field Table that you're doing now.
So at the Mulefoot Gastropub, we named the restaurant after the pigs that we were raising for the restaurant, of course. And so they were, it's a heritage breed, and they were really, really high quality pork. But we didn't necessarily have the same access to, say, local beef. So the whole mission of Farm Field Table is to provide a space where people can buy locally sourced meat of all types, to put locally sourced beef in our restaurant, and to do it in a way where the aging practices are acceptable all the way up to the quality of chefs that we are and that our peers are, and also that's fresh, consistently available, and easy to access. We have a 380-something square foot store in Ferndale, which is in an industrial area. It's very unassuming. You would never know that it's here. And we are able to purchase and work with and supply somewhere around 20 to 30,000 pounds of local meat every week.
Wow.
It really is amazing. In the first year, my goal, which maybe was a weird goal for a business, but my overarching goal was a purchasing goal. And I wanted to buy $1 million worth of farm animals. And we way surpassed that in year one. So you hear a lot of people talk about what it means to buy locally and, the impact financially that it has on the local economy. But when you come here to Farm Field Table, you can see this play out very close to home. I mean, it's millions of dollars that are staying in the local economy. We buy directly from local farms. We use local slaughter facilities, obviously employ local people, but even all of the outside services are provided by small local companies, whether it's pest control or whether it's like, medium range refrigeration services, all sorts of stuff. Almost all of the money that comes in and out of this business stays here in the local economy.
You've got a location in Grosse Pointe Park as well?
Yep, we do. It's right on Kercheval, next to Atwater in the park, if you know where that is.
Well, I hate to sound like a dad, but I'm so proud of you guys because when we were there so many years ago, you guys you were kids and you had already worked all around the world in some of the best restaurants on the planet. And then you started a restaurant that was absolutely mind-blowing good. And then now you've gone on to this and you're doing this so well. It's just like, stop it. You're too talented.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. And, as crazy as it is, it seems like we still have so much more work to do. You know what I mean? Like we're just beginning, really.
Well, if you don't know good food as well as you should, don't worry, because Matt and the team at Farm Field Table have got you covered like a fillet with zip sauce. But now, time to hit the beach, sunrise style. It's hard to believe it, but it's been 6 years now since we got tropical in a temperate zone. That's right, I'm talking about Mai Tiki Resort just south of Oscoda. It's right on the sandy shores of Lake Huron, and we'd been passing it for years wondering how wonderful it might be. So finally, we stopped, stayed, played, and found our own piece of paradise on our own pleasant peninsula. And the good news is, creative and innovative owner Teresa Landino is still there and still working hard to make the magic happen every summer season. Well, I have to be honest, Teresa, I can't think of a more beautiful place to social distance anywhere than your place. I mean, what a beautiful place to be and be responsible, correct?
Yeah, it is perfect for social distancing and everybody enjoying themselves, yet having enough space to stay away from each other if they so choose.
Now, a lot has changed since we were up there quite a few years ago. You used to just have that one little resort, but now you've got more, I understand?
Yeah, we added just north of us, Tiki Beach Club, which has 13 cottages on the water, staying with the Tiki theme. And then a few miles north of there, we added Secret Tiki Beach. There's just 3 cottages, and so they rent as one because of the intimate size. It's just one group, one family. And it has a little wooded part where you can have hammocks and kind of get some shade, and then a giant open beach, but very private. There aren't really any resorts around there, so the foot traffic is, you think you're just there by yourself. So it's a really neat place with a tiki theme.
How's your water level?
High, very high, but we're managing. It's okay. We've been staying ahead of it, but yeah, it is high right now.
Yeah, I guess it's just more lake to love.
It's more lake to love. Yes, definitely. Enough for everyone.
Well, what I love about your place is every one of those little cottages is different. So it's a different experience every time you come up there. And it's the closest thing. I mean, do you ever get people from Jamaica stopping by just because they're homesick?
Haven't had Jamaica, but several countries we have had. But if you can't go to Jamaica, this is a great option, a great alternative to somewhere tropical that you can't get to. And right here in Michigan.
Yeah, exactly. And you're just south of Oscoda, and Oscoda is really waking up. It's becoming a really cool, funky little town to visit.
It is. It's a really cool, like, boutique beach resort town. So it's come a long way. It keeps going, and we've got a lot of good people in charge who are taking it to a level that everyone can enjoy.
Yeah, and another thing we never talked about the first time you were on is you guys are doing weddings there. You're doing parties, things like that. I mean, as soon as we can do stuff like that, it's a wonderful place to do that.
This is a great wedding destination. I mean, look at the backdrop. It's every picture looks great. Everyone enjoys themselves. It's like a mini vacation wedding for everyone.
Did you personally pick out all the colors for those cottages?
I did, yes. And I'm constantly changing them. So you might be in a blue one this year and a hot pink one next year.
How do you stay so tropical all the time? Do you drink Mai Tais like constantly?
Well, Tom.
I knew it.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Well, it goes without saying that there's never been a better time to start thinking local when it comes to your travel plans. So if you want to get your tiki on, go visit Teresa in Oscoda and have a Mai Tai for me while you're at it. Bonus. Now, our last UTR Alumni look back is in Ironwood up in the UP. It's also about as far away from me as you can be and still be in Michigan. But this heart and head-warming story was well worth the drive. You guessed it, I'm referring to the historic and celebrated company that makes Michigan's most iconic cap, the Stormy Kromer. My ears are warmer just thinking about it. Now, if you remember, which could be tough because this was our first season 10 years ago, I spent some time with Bob Jacquart and found out how he saved the company employed a town, and continues to take the iconic Stormy Kromer to infinity and beyond. Hey, Bob, how you doing all the way up there?
Oh, we're doing great. And it's probably the warmest day of the summer here today. It's going to be 84 or something like that. Calling the UP.
I can't believe it's been 10 years since we've been up there to the factory, but Stormy Kromer holds the distinction of having had the longest UTR segment on our program ever, because when we got up there and saw the extraordinary things that you had done and were doing and met your awesome family, your segment ended up being like 8 minutes long. So congrats.
Yeah, well, that's awesome. Yeah, you just told me that when we set this up, and it's like, I didn't know that. And we feel really honored.
How are you and your family doing through all this craziness right now?
We're doing really well. In fact, I have a TV shirt on because I'm working in the plant right now. We're so busy that I had a t-shirt on a couple of minutes ago because we are just so busy and we're all working, and it's we're very, very blessed. And the energy level here and the positiveness of the company. In fact, I walked out with my number 2 maintenance. I walked out of one building just 15 minutes ago and I said, "How's it going, Todd?" And he says, "I'm the happiest I've ever been. This is my 5th job of my life and I love it here."
Well, that positive energy, I got news for you, comes from a guy at the top, and I know him. You might want to meet him. His name's Bob. Anyway, tell me some of the extraordinary things that you guys have been doing for this whole COVID crisis.
Well, Stormy Kromer is part of our business, but we are a contract business by, kind of by trade, and that contract business bought Stormy Kromer. But we're a completely open-minded company. Look where we are. We're far away from any big city. We're in the United States, and we're in the sewing business succeeding. So when you put that all together, we are very creative. And I was out of the country trying to get back in on a Saturday before the state was shut down. The Saturday before the state was shut down, we got an email from a major healthcare system saying we need masks. I flew that Saturday night. Gina assembled the meeting here on a Sunday afternoon. We designed a mask. My son-in-law drove it halfway to the customer on Sunday night, and the customer drove halfway to meet them on the side of the highway. And on Wednesday, we started making 3,000 masks a day, just like that. And the greatest thing you can say about it is my people came in almost like they were helping make tanks or airplanes or bullets or whatever, that they were part of this. And our call-in rate for "I am sick" or "I stayed up too late for the Lions game last night" kind of stuff, that all went away. And for 3 weeks, we had none of that. They were coming here separated, wearing masks, and kicking butt and taking names.
But getting back to the iconic Stormy Kromer cap, what's new? What are you guys doing to spread the word and to cover our brain holders so well and so warmly?
I just have to tell you, I live in Ironwood. I'm 12 hours away from Detroit, 9 hours away from Lansing. I don't get there as often. It's not part of my life. It's my everyday life. The pride of Made in Michigan down by you is pretty incredible. They found out it was being made in Michigan, and that pride of buying something made in Michigan just really launched us.
I've still got mine. I still got the one that I got when I was up there.
Yeah, and I've got
90 today.
I got a whole boatload of them. So
you think?
Yeah.
Wow, hard to believe it's been 9 years since we first met up with Bob and the crew at Stormy Kromer. Sure, a lot's changed, but the passion and dedication of this iconic Michigan company hasn't flinched an inch. It's something all of us can be truly proud of. Well, that about wraps up our first ever What You Been Up To special. Hope you enjoyed it, and stay tuned because this one was so much fun, we just might do a What You Been Up To Part 2 real soon. So, peace out and love Michigan. I'm hip. I'm not hip. I might break a hip, but I'm not hip. I'm far from hip. Ow, my hip! Hey there. Want to know more about all the great places we go on the program? Just go to our website. You can watch episodes, tell us where to go, jump to our Facebook page, and even buy a hat like mine. So just go to utrmichigan.com. That's utrmichigan.com. Go now. Or now.
DestinationAnnArbor.org is your gateway to Chelsea, Dexter, Manchester, Milan, Saline, Ypsilanti, and Ann Arbor. Find out the best spots to eat, festivals to attend, activities to do, and places to discover at DestinationAnnArbor.org. A visit to the Stahl's Auto Collection will take you back to a time when cars were more than just a way to get around. A fantastic assortment of gas pumps, neon signs, and automated music machines dating back 150 years that must be seen and heard. Info at stahlsauto.com.